Good morning, everybody. Fergus Dolan here from NALA, the National Adult Literacy Agency. We're delighted to have you here this morning for our webinar. It's the first of three family learning webinars. And this morning's webinar is on our lived memories. And we're delighted to have Joan Moffitt from Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim ETB. Hi, Joan.
Hi, hi everybody.
And her colleague Gary Burke is going to be helping her. Hi, Gary.
Okay.
So yeah, as I just said, please, Joan is keen for you to ask questions, either to unmute and ask or to type your question into the chat box. So just be sure, Karen and Marina, that you're muted there before we start. So over to you, Joan, and all the best.
Thank you. As Fergus said there, I hope that it's a very visual presentation and that you will really get a lot out of watching a lot of the stuff in it. My name is Joan Moffitt and I'm the Adult Literacy Tutor and the Family Learning Coordinator with Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim ETB. And I facilitated a course called History in a Box at a number of sessions in Sligo. And I found that the word history put people off. So I've actually changed the name of the course to Memories in a Box. So what the Memories in a Box course is, the people bring photographs, mementos, trinkets, letters of interest to class, and they write about them. And the function of this really was to have information archived for their families or for future generations. These tangible items are stored in a large shoebox, and I have my box here. Do you see it? Yeah. So it's probably bigger than a shoebox. It's a boot box, really, and you cover the box. So what I found was that I did the craft of covering the box as an icebreaker on the first day. And the participants really gelled, by just looking at the craft materials or discussing what way they would decorate their boxes. So then people would discuss the items in the box with their peers. And believe me, the stories that they shared, there was a lot of laughter and there was a lot of tears as well. So Gary is just going to zoom in here on my box. I have my box here on this table. So Gary, if you could just show them what's on the box, in my box here. Can you do that? Or I can bring things over either if it's easier. I can bring things over. So the box, I have it just set up here. Will the lead let it go?
Actually, Joan and Gary, the screen is frozen on you. We can still hear you, but you two are frozen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can still hear you though, at least.
The joys of technology.
Yeah.
Can you hear me still?
We can hear you, but the screen is frozen on the two.
Okay, but sure, I can still talk about this, and then hopefully it'll come back in Gary's a minute.
Yeah.
So anyway, participants then discussed the items with the group, and as I said, the stories were full of laughter and tears as well. Now, the purpose of this really, it was a literacy project, and the literacy is highlighted then when people go to write about the items in the box. So, for example, I did facilitate in a disadvantaged area in Sligo here, and there was a lot of literacy challenges in the group. It was mainly grandparents. They wanted to do the information for their grandchildren, but they didn't have the literacy because they'd left school early. So I really was saying to them, look, don't worry about the spelling, get the information down, and I'll help you with that. So I helped them write out the correct versions. Now, it is nice to have the information in the grandparents' own handwriting because it's kind of nostalgic, but you can get them to type it out again and it brings another kind of skill into the class. I worked in the library to do one of the courses there recently, and I find the library actually a great place to collaborate with, because they have generally the venues, and they also have people coming in and out, so they can get participants for you. I also run a story sack course with them. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, Joan, we can hear you perfectly, but once your screen is still frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, so we won't be able to see any if you're holding anything up. I don't know
Yeah, I'm not holding anything up yet at the moment, but
we'll have to reinstall things.
sometimes you have to go out.
Gary says we'll have to reinstall the Zoom, is it?
Yeah, we'll have to reconnect, guys. The Zoom's not responding.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
does
that's
that mean,
perfect.
I'm just
Gary,
very glad I have a technician.
you're gonna log off, Gary, and come on again, is it?
I think we'll have to, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no
not
problem.
responding to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Just while they're doing that, just to let you know, we've 2 family learning webinars next week. So on Tuesday the 2nd at lunchtime from 1 to 2, we've got Steve Lally and his webinars on storytelling. He presented 2 webinars at the family learning workshop last week. And then on Wednesday the 3rd, Arlene White from the Clare Adult Literacy Scheme, the Limerick and Clare Adult Literacy Scheme, is doing a webinar from 1 to 2 on Sharing Our Stories project, a project she did, family learning project in County Clare. So they're on next week and they're free, and anyone can register for those if you want. Just while we're waiting for Joan to rejoin, if anyone has any questions for me, fire away. Or any points they have or suggestions. Did any of you go to the family learning conference last Thursday in Dublin? No, okay. So what we usually do is we take maybe 3 of the workshops from that conference and run them as webinars in the week or 2 after the conference. We did that with the ESOL conference too. And we're, as I said, we're recording this so that if anyone wants to look back at anything, or someone who's missed it, who's teaching now, can look back at it. So I'm just waiting on Joan and Gary to rejoin, you know. I haven't seen them yet. Yep, there's Joan. Hi, Joan.
Hi. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
I
So, Gary, do you want to request to be able to present and I can allow?
So, yeah, I think we have rights, yeah.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, because you had it a minute ago. You probably still have it.
So do you want to continue?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll go together.
Okay, everybody, we're back again.
We can see you and you're moving about and we can hear you.
Good. Does anybody know what this is? This is one of the things that was in my box. If you want to put it in the comment box.
Or you can unmute and say if you know.
Or you can unmute you, yeah, and say what it is. I think Maureen in there knows what it is. No? What about you, Kay? Karen?
It's like a little stamper.
I haven't a clue.
No, it's a mushroom. You're right, but about being a bit.
Anna got it.
Anna, it's a darning mushroom. So years ago when they were darning socks, they put this in to help them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And these were in my box as well. Do you know what they are? Yeah?
They're butter.
The butter paddles.
Butter paddles, exactly. Now, this was my dad's camera. It's actually a box camera. So these are the kind of things were in my box. My Irish dancing medals. A book I got in school. You can see the lovely calligraphy. And letters from my grandmother. And these little cards that are now actually collector's items. So these are just some of the things that were in old money. I had old money in my box as well. So in 2024, I was asked to facilitate a Memories in a Box course at Sligo Library with a group of women, and they were in the 50 to 70 age bracket. Now, the course was a great success, and the women wanted to do another course after it as a follow-up. The literacy was really good with this group, and I thought, oh, is this going to be a bit of a waste of time? But a lot of them had very bad digital literacy. And when I came back to the office and said about this, Dolores, our ALO, was able to address that. And one of our ladies was very good at poetry, but her partner had died and he had done all her typing and sending stuff off to the editor. So we were able to get her help here, and now she's back sending her poems away again. So, you know, it's funny how things can come up with these courses. But it was very clear at the end of the Memories in a Box project that the group I had were talented and they could achieve a lot more. So funding was received through the Adult Literacy for Life Collaboration and Innovation Fund in 2025, with the vision to making a publication on the memory boxes. So I facilitated the group again in the spring. We sat down, wrote the stories, wrote the poems, put them all together. And then the money that we got from the grant paid for an editor to go through the stories and a photographer to take photographs of the items and also, you know, the people that were going to be involved in the book. And then we had a videographer came in and did a film on the book. So this was a really exciting venture for the women, and I could really feel it empowering them. Now, some of the women were happy to share their stories in a public publication. Some of them weren't. But it was good to know that when they were actually in the group, before we talked about the publication, they felt in a safe place and they were willing to share their stories. So 2 people pulled out of the book, which meant that we were a little bit short of stories. I didn't set out to write my story. The coordinator, Michelle, in the library said, oh, Joan, why don't you do your story? You have the work done on it, because I was modeling for them. So just to say to you that if you want, it's a great opportunity to do your own story as well. I found I really empathized with the group because we've all had things in our lives that maybe, you know, want to talk about. And I really found that good. The whole experience for me was a very positive one. The book captures social change and personal history. And just quote our editor, Maeve McKenna, she said, traditions, rituals, the influence of church and state, and the economic realities of past decades are woven into the narratives. They offer important context, not just nostalgia, but remembrance, and not just history, but heritage. So we have a YouTube done on the book, and Gary's going to show you that. So I'm going to just, hopefully this will work now. So this is just the little YouTube on it.
I can let you know, Joan, if the sound is working.
Okay. Thanks, Gary. Or thanks, Fergus. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
In 2024, Sligo Libraries collaborated with MSL ETB Sligo on a Baltina workshop series called History in a Box. This was facilitated by Joan Moffitt, Adult Literacy Tutor and Family Learning Coordinator for MSL ETB. Sligo Library members joined the workshop, coming together as a group to share their personal histories using mementos, photographs, trinkets and letters. When the project ended, it didn't feel like it was finished. And so in 2025, I applied for the Adult Literacy for Life Collaboration and Innovation Fund, which supports the literacy, numeracy, digital and financial unmet needs of adults.
I responded to a flyer advertising a 4-week workshop on creating a memory box. This was facilitated by MSL ETB and the Sligo Library. That first morning, running late and flustered, I quickly grabbed a few items. Wrapping some delicate shiny shells in tissue paper, I placed them into a shoebox alongside a handful of buttons, a clump of thread, some yarn and a photograph taken over 70 years ago. At the last moment, I remembered my nursing badge and an acupuncture needle, and I popped them in too. This will have to do for now, I thought. 5 women gathered in the back room of the library. After registering, we introduced ourselves and briefly shared the objects we had brought. As we handled them, memories, sensory and emotional, came rushing in. It was as if we had opened a kind of Pandora's box. The conversation flowed. We were connecting. Maybe I could just read a little poem. I call it Still Unfurling. This memory box of mine holds pieces of all I've seen. Fragments, fibers, scraps of time and stitch from where I've been. But don't let it whisper that the story is done, as if silvered hair means the setting sun. Each morning I wake with the soft stretch of becoming still in my bones. A creak, a sigh, and low familiar groans. Yet still I unfurl, like a fern in the light, drawn not by duty, but by quiet delight. Curiosity stirs, gratitude blows and blows. Thank you.
My name is Joan Moffitt. I am an adult literacy tutor and the Family Learning Coordinator with Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim Education and Training Board. I'm really excited to be involved in this project. It developed from the Family Learning Memories in a Box course, which I facilitated in Sligo Library in 2024. My passion in life is teaching, and in my story, I bring the reader on the journey I had through going back to college as an adult to achieve my dream to become a teacher. This is just a little snippet out of my story. It's about my childhood spent in my dad's shop. Initially, our shop had a big counter, and Daddy and Jack worked behind the counter. You only saw their heads and shoulders adorning their shop coats. They reached for the items as they were requested by the customers, and they did their totals on paper bags. I remember the big red meat slicer that I knew not to go near. In the 1970s, this all changed when the shop was renovated to be a self-service mini market. This change saw the introduction of self-service refrigeration. And up to that, Daddy and Jack had to go to the cold room for all those perishable items. I watched Daddy cut tobacco, cut toffee, and slice ice cream into portions. Propping wafers at both ends, the customer could choose how much they wanted to spend on their ice cream. Biscuits were sold loose from a clear-topped tin, and eggs were sold loose too. In family learning, we believe that parents and grandparents have a significant role to play in educating children. At MSL ETB, we are very proud to collaborate with Sligo Library in delivering some of these courses.
I would like to read Horse at Strand Hill in memory of my beloved Gerard McCarthy. And I also want you to see a painting by Tristan Cryan, who is like a grandson to me. He's a very gifted little artist. He's only 12 years old. And this painting is The Horse at Strand Hill, owned by my sister Mary McGillan. And Gerard and I used to visit that horse. Horse at Strand Hill, in memory of my beloved Gerard McCarthy. I see her outline in the rain-drenched field where the grass falls and the stone wall bows. I call her, Becky, Becky, and she turns and walks towards me, and a winnowing cry echoes over the field, drowning out the sea's hollow thunder. Her eyes look at me, the deep, dark sockets stung by sea breezes, and all the grief is mirrored there, like the year was wrung out and thrown on the wet field. A year has passed since you went away. I think of her waiting by that gate, pacing the field, listening for the miraculous sound of your boots and your breaths couched in wonder, and her loneliness impenetrable. Now the wind howls in the stone, and she walks me slowly away, holding her head high. When I turn back to call her name, there is silence, and then the whinnying sound begins again. I'd like to thank the library, and I'd like to thank Michelle Brennan for all the work she's put into it. And I'd also like to thank Maeve, our editor, and also to thank Joan and Michelle Rudden, who gave me such help. I'd just like to say thank you.
The name of my story is called Mother. The house is silent. I sit looking at the gallery of photographs displayed on the fridge door. They are held in place by butterflies, crickets, and various other magnets. My eyes roam from the joyful images of the smiling grandchildren and stop at my mother's face. I continue to gaze and become transfixed, like water pouring from a pitcher. I come to understand how she naturally fell into her groove and followed the path laid out for her. Mother's dreams were simple. They were based on love, marriage, children, and happiness. The unconditional love she manifested has come down through 3 generations. The mitochondria, which is the energy-creating constituent of a cell, is passed from mother to daughter. This makes my mother much closer to our present-day lives, which is recognizable in my grandchildren. When I was a young child, my special place to sit was beneath the dining room table, where I watched as mother went about her chores. A memory I have of her is knitting and sewing. I liked the sound of the needles clicking as her fingers worked each row until the jumper grew in size. She never followed a pattern, but worked from whatever was in her head. This inspirational and intricate knitting led to many jumpers and cardigans that were knitted for her family. Years later, I recognized the value of what mother achieved as a young woman with 6 children. It was from her I learned to appreciate these creative skills. One evening, she decided to make me a dress from a plaid material. Being a little older, now I saw how she was totally engrossed with the planning, the intricate details. She sat at the Singer sewing machine, following her intuition until she completed the decorative stitching on the bodice. It was now late, and I yearned to be under the bedcovers, in the land of Nod fast asleep, but she's eager to complete the dress, so I had to wait until she was satisfied with the result. The next day, she started 2 similar dresses for my younger sisters. Many a time I return to that memory and see myself standing in front of my mother, wearing the dress in the almost darkened room, wearing her creation. Mother was quite pleased with herself and stood looking at me with a smile on her face. Patience, kindness, and gentleness are in most people, but unless we are aware, we do not notice these qualities. These traits, when observed, can be a very good teacher. Long ago, Mother taught me much by her actions of kindness to an old woman who came to the front door. She was dressed all in black with a shawl around her, but was not wearing shoes. When the old woman came inside, she sat on a chair. Mother went to find her warm winter boots and placed them on her feet. The image of her standing wrapped in her shawl, crossed at the front and tied at the back, standing, facing my mother, both smiling, remains with me. The door was opened and she headed off, walking into the pale winter sun shining on the morning landscape. At times, unknown aspects of Mother's life emerge. Each transitory moment, I can feel that the beauty and love given by her in life may fade, but her essence will continue to live on in future generations. They will remain as memories that reflect a mother's enduring love. My name is Rose Jordan. I'm originally from Scarmouth in County Roscommon, and the piece I'm about to read is based on my childhood experiences of my mother being an immigrant coming back to Ireland to marry. Lipstick. She had been up early to bring in turf to light the fire in the range, milk the cows and feed the hens before she roused the children. She urged them to get dressed quickly or they'd be late. The shoes she'd polished the night before were lined up at the door, and as they put them on, she dug her chipped fingernail into the bottom of the lipstick holder and scraped out a tiny bit of pigment to smear on her lips before they went to first mass. It had come in her trunk from Boston when she came back home to marry. The trunk bore the shipping stickers of her voyage to Cove, and it contained her finery from her 6 years in America. Taffeta dresses in subtle shades of pink and blue that no longer fitted her swollen waist and were now flickered by moths. Stilettos that were too small now for her bunion feet. Strings of pearls and compacts of rusty gone-off face powder. These were now the playthings of her growing family, who loved the clipping sound the heels made on the bare cement floor in the kitchen. Anything else of use had long since been cut up and painstakingly hand-stitched to make outfits for her little girls. She said she didn't care. She had no place to wear them anyway, except the lipstick. She kept that tucked safely in the pocket of her sensible Sunday coat.
My name is Maeve McKenna and I'm the editor of Our Lived Memories, a book that evolved from a series of workshops held in 2024 under the Memories in a Box project. I was delighted to be asked to edit the book and got to meet the ladies who have contributed to the book over the last number of months. These are 5 very unique and different stories. Normally the role of an editor is about grammatical corrections, looking at spelling, checking for errors. But what I found when I started to read through these stories was how deeply profound they were and how much of these stories, although very different from my own life and memories, resonated and brought back many memories to me. So it was a real joy to read through each person's story and find in that some of my own memories that in some cases I had forgotten.
We hope you enjoy this tapestry of stories woven together and perhaps be inspired to create your own lived history.
Everybody able to see that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on the 17th of October, Our Lived Memories was launched by Minister Marion Harkin. And at the launch, she told us she'd read the book and she referred to the book as a precious book that'll break your heart and fill your heart. So I'm going to just get Gary now to put on a little snippet from the launch.
Library, and I've just had the
We can hear that.
opportunity, indeed the privilege, to launch this just beautiful, precious book. It's called Our Lived Memories, and it's 5 women from Sligo. Their journey throughout life in poems and photographs. We're talking about Mary Rowan Foley, Norma McGillan, Joan Moffitt, Rose Jordan, and Barbara Muntz Charlton. Look, I can't do justice to this book by telling you what's in it. But I can say this. I read it last night. It's moving. It will, as I said, it'll break your heart and it'll fill your heart. This is a book worth getting. It's free. This is a really brilliant publication in conjunction with MSL ETB, that's Mayo, Sligo and Leitrim Education and Training Board, with Sligo Library, and it's funded under the Adult Literacy for All programme. But forget that. The book itself is what's important. Get it, read it. You'll be glad you did.
Okay. Now, we actually plan to show the memory boxes in Sligo Museum. That was meant to take place, I think, in Heritage Week, but the chimney in the museum decided to fall in. So we're still waiting to do that. So the idea is that YouTube will be playing in the background and everybody's memory box will be in a glass case. So we're hoping that will happen. So if anybody wants to ask me anything about the book, I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. And maybe it'll give you some ideas to do something similar in your own area.
Feel free to unmute and chat to Joan, or maybe talk about how you could adapt it to your centre, or how Joan maybe set it up or found how she got the women to participate, etc. So Joan, I'll ask you that one. How did you get the 5 women to participate in the project?
Well, that was probably the easiest one to recruit for, because there were these women that were going to the library on a regular basis and they were looking to do something. And Michelle came to me and she said, at this age group, what do you think? I had done Story Sacks with her. The Story Sacks works really well because they provide me with the books and they provide me with the venue, and they've a toodle time there on Friday where they've a group of mothers coming in with tots. So it was kind of the same thing with these 5 women. I also, when I ran in Cranmore now, I had a harder job to keep the women, because when they heard the word history, 2 of them came in and they said, what's this about? Nice, it's about history in a box. Oh, they said, we're out of here, we hated that subject in school. So that was a harder group to keep. I had to really, really work on them to get them to do it. But a book didn't come out of that. It was just to get them to work to actually complete a box.
Okay. And where did you say that was in?
In Cranmore, which would have been a disadvantaged area here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you recruit the participants from there?
Flyers.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Hi, Joan.
Hi, how are you? Orla.
Is it Orla, or I was going to say something as well? Sorry, I don't know. I'm jumping in there, am I?
That's Karen. Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah, sorry.
Karen.
Hi, Joan. How are you?
Karen, are you the Karen from Wish?
Yes, long time no see.
Karen here, long time no see. Lovely to see you, Karen.
When I saw you were facilitating, I said I had to tune in.
Thank you.
It's great to see it.
Thank you.
I just want to commend you on it, like fabulous project. I'm not in family learning myself, my colleagues are, but I thought it would be very useful to check it out and
Yes.
pass on the information. I've taken loads of notes here now, so I'll speak
Okay.
with our own coordinator on this.
Yes.
And also, I think it's a very clever move to change the wording from history to memories. I think
Yes.
it's all about the text we use at times, isn't it, to bring in people?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
well done.
Thank
Fabulous.
you.
And great to see you.
And you too,
You're still
Karen.
working like a busy bee anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And sure you are too.
Yeah. Oh, well, we love our job.
We do. We do, Karen.
Anyway, well done.
Thanks, Karen. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I just like to come in there as
Hi,
well.
Marina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yes, well, I was having a few tears myself there.
Where are you?
Yeah, really lovely. And when it start again, like Karen, I'm not totally involved in the family learning. I've done
Yes.
bits of maybe previous, but the project style literacy item, I think, is always a wonderful. It's always a wonderful one.
Yeah.
I've kind of been pulled away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
And
The
I thought,
items. It's just, I think, using the items. I would have taught infants and got them to do show and tell, and I would have found that so interactive. That kind of gave me the idea.
yes, because when it started, I thought, all right, okay, Box Now How, yes, I've heard that before. But when I saw, yes, when the items appeared, I thought, okay, all right. So that makes it easier in some way, I suppose,
Yes.
for people to, as you
Yes.
said, engage. And I just wondered over what long of a period of time that would have to, was it over the year, or I know you mentioned
Yeah, the box actually was only a month. It was 4 sessions to make the box.
Okay, so you can just make the box.
Yeah, that was 4 sessions. And then Michelle came back to me and said, oh, these women really want to promote, do more on this. So it took us a while then to get the funding. The funding for that is, what is it called?
All office.
Yes,
The
Advert Literacy for Life. That funding is actually out since Monday again. It can be applied for.
All right.
And it's closing at the end of January. Now, the only thing is, seemingly you can't model something that's already been done. I think is the thing with it. Is that it? Yeah, can't. So you have to do something else that hasn't been thought of before. But you could always tweak it some other way, I'm sure.
Oh gosh, no, we have to think of something else. Okay,
yeah,
all right, that's all right. And it just struck me too that the ladies were the literacy was high.
It was.
Literacy was high because
yeah.
they were
pieces. But don't let that put you off, because I teach in rehab care and I did a very similar thing without having an editor, a publisher or anything. We just brought the stuff in the boxes and I typed out the stories with the picture of the objects. And I mean, I just had literally sheets from the photocopier stapled together, and they had their little books. So it doesn't have to be a very expensive project. You can do it with any group, really.
Okay. And the books, can you get a book? Can you get one of those books?
These books are available. Can you see them there?
Yes. Yeah.
They're available from the library here, but I was talking to Dolores, my ALO, and she said, what we'll do is, if you want to send me a self-addressed envelope, I think I asked the man in the post office yesterday, he said, I think it's $2.95, and you address the envelope to Joan Moffitt at MSL ETB, Key Street, Sligo.
Right.
I'll send out the book.
Okay.
We got 300 printed and we've only something like 25 left.
Oh, yeah, I'd say they.
Yeah. Now, I think it would have been better if there was a charge on it. I always think people value something better when there's a charge, but because of the funding, we couldn't do that. So, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't do it.
Yes.
You could charge. It cost €1,000 to just print the book.
Right. Yes, that's always a bit expensive, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to hog that. Yeah.
That's okay.
All right.
Joan, thanks. I've just put up a link to you see the adult.
I saw that there. Thanks, Fergus.
The collaboration fund details are in it, so you can look at that and see what kind of projects get money. Basically, Joan, for the collaboration fund, you have to link in with another organization. So you linked in with the local library.
The library, yeah.
And can you just tell us a little bit more about where you did it with the other group? who in the disadvantaged area in Sligo, and you didn't print a book, was there any costs there? When you don't print the book, is it all free, or how does that
So
work?
it's free, really, because it's just your venue. I did it in the community centre. And the only thing is, I did bring a few craft materials in, but my husband happens to sell shoes, so I got the shoe boxes from him. And that you need a boot box, really. The shoe box is too small. And they kind of, I brought the craft stuff in, but in the disadvantaged area, oh my goodness, the amount of glitter and frilly stuff and everything that came in to decorate the boxes. They loved the boxes. Decorating the boxes was a big thing. And some of them brought material in to cover the boxes. So there's no cost really, because they have the stuff, you know.
Okay. So you could run it in any family resource centre, any adult
Yeah.
literacy centre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any more questions or comments for Joan there?
I just have, if that's okay, Joan. Hiya, Joan.
Hi, how are you?
Hiya. I'm actually working in family learning. I'm at Laois Offaly ETB.
Okay,
And I love that. It's actually fantastic. Well done on it.
thank you.
I was just thinking, like, when I was watching it, you know, the way your brain goes off thinking of twigs already. I was like going, men, I'm trying to get men in to do.
Yeah,
And I just think like something like this might interest them as well. Like it's something
yeah,
really different, but like at the same time, I like, you know, there's men's sheds, and
yes,
we have kind of a soldiers group, you know, retired soldiers and things.
yes,
But
yes.
like I suppose like ideas of getting
Yeah, I
people
actually,
in.
it was men mainly I had in rehab care.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was funny, like they brought in stuff like really old plugs and tools and
Yeah.
pictures of prize bulls. And it was just very different. But Michelle at
Yeah.
the library said to me, "Oh, I'd love to do it with a group of men." But then
Yeah.
we wouldn't get the funding, you see, to do the book with
Yeah.
the same level with them. Yeah, but she is looking into doing it with men. Hard
Yeah.
to get men engaged. Sorry,
It's
Gary.
hard. It is hard to get men engaged. But
It is.
there was a project I was looking at, similar to that, like, you know, like writing a letter or whatever. Like, but I love
Yeah,
the idea of actually passing a memory box to
yes,
it could be a niece, a nephew, or whatever, or you know, or a
yeah.
grandchild or something like that. I just think it's fabulous. So well
Well,
done. Yeah.
Fergus has said about dads and lads. We have run that. That has been run in. I haven't run it now, but the Family Resource Centre here has run that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Dads and
like
lads. I must look at
yeah.
even. Yeah.
I
The other
think
one we've
Orla
done with
Portlaoise.
lads. I did one
Yeah.
with dads
Funny.
and lads, and it was make a go-kart.
Oh yeah. Love
Now
it.
I couldn't put up a picture, but I got a really good guy, and I ran it when the technical school had nobody in their workroom. But I must have ran that about 15 years ago. But now there's so much health and safety and all the
Yeah.
rest of it. It ruins it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a go-kart race then down the mall in the go-karts.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I saw a fly fish one, you know, teach a man how to fly fish, but I was talking to a fly fisher and he said that's a really hard thing to do. So it's like
Right.
even to teach a father how to fish, you know,
Yeah.
and bring in a
Yeah.
child. Yeah, but thank you. So
No
many
problem.
ideas. Love to do them all. Yeah. Thank you.
You might get granddads engaging.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. If you could get
Yeah.
grandkids, you know.
Granddads, I find the parents are so busy
Yeah.
now that
Yeah.
the grandparents, a lot of them are minding the children.
Yeah, and if you could include the child maybe on the last week or something, that
Yeah.
you're doing a
Yeah.
show and tell to the,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Fergus has given loads of ideas there about granddads and men's sheds.
Just the men's sheds are so active, and
Mm.
they're often very keen to participate in a project. And Orla, I think if you first approached the men's shed and chatted about it, and maybe building the one in where I'm from in Virginia in Cavan, they build lovely flower boxes and vegetable boxes, and you know, I can't remember what you call it, where you grow the vegetables in a huge box that are on stand on
Yeah.
stilts. I
Yeah,
can't remember the word for that, but even window flower boxes or
Yeah.
whatever it is, you
Yeah.
can chat to them and see what they're interested in. Even boat building, I saw one,
Yes.
and possibly with granddads and grandkids, get them involved.
Yeah. Because our men's sheds here tend to like you to go to them, if you know what I mean. So they're not very good to come to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, great. It's like a little, I have to get them in some way. Yeah.
And definitely in Laois, a good few years ago, I heard about a good project. It was Dads and Lads Sport, and I can't remember it was through Port GA or a soccer club in Port Town, but I've just forgotten what it was. But that is another possibility.
Yeah, the GAA. Excellent. Yes. Ooh, okay.
At every age group in GA, there are mentors, so volunteer dads and mums who are sort of coaches on the teams.
Yeah.
You go there, there's usually development officers with the GA club. And you go there and ask them, and they could point you to the under 8 or the under 10 or under 12, whatever age group you want.
Sure. Soccer clubs, and the soccer club in Portlaoise is in a disadvantaged area. So, it'd be great. Yeah, great ideas. Thanks so much, Fergus.
You're welcome. Any other questions or suggestions or ideas for Joan? No? Okay. Joan, I think we leave it there then.
That's fine. Lovely to meet you all, and I hope you got some ideas from it.
Thanks so much, Joan.
Just before you go, sorry, can I just say, so we send an envelope to the library with Joan?
Joan Moffitt at MSL ETB.
Oh, so we send it to you with a addressed envelope inside.
And it's Keith Street, Sligo.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Or if you look at the chat box there, I've written in Joan's address, and you put 290 stamp on an envelope inside, and Joan will post it to you free. If anyone wants to book.
Is it an A4 actually? Is it an A4 envelope? Would that fit?
One.
Yeah, perfect. Lovely. Yeah. Thanks, Joan. Yeah.
And I'll send it out to you. I actually have ring fenced a few copies for you, for today.
Great.
So it'll be a matter of popping them in the envelopes when I get them and send them out.
Super. Thanks, Miller.
Joan, it just leaves me to say thanks so much to Joan for a wonderful project and a lovely presentation and a great explanation. And you can surely see that this project could be run out in any kind of centre. She ran it in 2 different centres, and obviously if you want to print the book, there's a lot of money, but if you don't want to print the book, Joan said there's virtually no costs, just getting the boot boxes. So thanks a million, Joan, for that, and thanks Gary for the technical assistance.
Yes, I don't know what I would have done without Gary. He's
amazing.
Gary. Thanks, Gary.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some inspiration, some ideas, and a bit of motivation and a lift. So thanks everyone, and
thank you.
All the
best. Thanks Fergus for organising it.
Thank you.
Bye everybody.
Joan, could you send me on your presentation, and I'll send it on to everyone who's registered for this.
All right. How do I do that, Gary?
Just email on even any links you have or any info you have.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Bye.
Joan. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Read the comments.